Hey guys, today I'm going to be discussing Season 1 of The Haunting of Hill House. So, before I do head into my thoughts and feelings on Season 1 of The Haunting of Hill House, no spoilers, especially especially in regards to like what the big mysteries are, everything revealed in the final episode. Yeah, I'm definitely not going to have any sort of huge spoilers like that. Now, yeah, there may be some tiny minor spoilers, but like nothing that's going to destroy your viewing of the show if you haven't seen it already, you know what I mean? So yeah, let's get going. No huge spoilers, but yeah, I want to get into my thoughts and my feels on The Haunting of Hill House, you guys, because I freaking loved this show. And yeah, Haunting of Hill House, it is a Netflix show, had 10 episodes. It has been renewed for another season. But yeah, what you need to know about this show, they are making it into more of an anthology series. So yeah, this first season was based off of the book by Shirley Jackson, and then yes, season 2 is going to be based off of The Turn of the Screw by Henry James, I want to say. So yeah, every season is going to be a different house, is my understanding. It's going to be a different house, a different location, a different mystery, different horror elements. So yeah, let's get going, you guys, with my thoughts and my feelings, because I'm so excited. I know this show, it aired back in 2018. I think back in October, I want to say. It's been a long time, you guys, and I'm just now putting it up here in like August, I think. So yeah, it's been a long time since the first season came out, but I recently got a Netflix account a couple months ago. So I've been trying to catch up on some shows that I never got around to. So that included The Haunting of Hill House. I am so glad I finally caught up on this show, you guys. Because I've heard a lot about it. I've heard that this show, even though there are a lot of horror elements to it and it is frightening and scary on occasion, I've heard that it's so much more than that. And yeah, that's kind of what I want to dig into with my thoughts and feelings about this show, because I'm not a horror movie person. I don't like horror movies, you guys. I mean, I'll watch some of them, it just kind of depends, but yeah, I can't stand, especially like slasher flicks. I can't stand those type of things. Like, I've always wanted to watch the Saw movies, but I don't think I would make it through the first Saw movie. And yeah, I'm just not a fan of jump scares and blood and gore. I mean, that stuff just, I can't get into it. I'm very squeamish. So when I first heard about this show, it's like on the surface, I was like, oh, this sounds so good, but it's a horror show. I don't know if I'll be able to get through it. So yeah, that's kind of why initially I put it off, because I was like, oh, I just don't think I'm gonna like this. But yeah, as soon as the reviews started coming out, I was like, oh man, I'm regretting my decision not to watch the show, because it seems like there's so much more. And it is. This show is so much more, you guys, than just a horror show. It's a family drama more than anything. What you need to know about the first season of The Haunting of Hill House. Like I said, it's based off of the very popular, iconic book by Shirley Jackson, which, you know what, I have never read that book. But I did, you know what, I do remember seeing the movie, The Haunting. Do you guys remember The Haunting? That starred Liam Neeson and Catherine Zeta-Jones, and was Luke Wilson in that? Or Owen Wilson? One of them? Owen Wilson, that's who it was. Do you guys remember that movie? It was such a cheesy movie, and I haven't seen it in such a long time, but I remember watching that movie. But yeah, that's what that movie is. It's based off of the book by Shirley Jackson. And yeah, I think that movie was a bit more parallel to the book. So this first season of The Haunting of Hill House, even though it is based off of the book, it's very loosely based. It is mostly just inspired by, more than anything, because yeah, it doesn't really even have the same characters or anything to my understanding. So yeah, what you need to know about it is that it follows a family in two different timelines. In timeline 1, I'll call it, this family, they're the Crane family. It's a mom and a dad and 2 brothers and 3 sisters, and they arrive at Hill House, which is this huge house. It's very ancient. It used to belong to this family called the Hills, and they arrive at Hill House to how did they term it, to flip the house, I guess, to fix it up, spruce it up, to make it sellable to another buyer, I guess. So they're there to essentially fix the house up. But of course, this is a creepy house that's kind of fallen into disrepair, and things get weird, you guys. Obviously, things get weird. There's strange knockings on the wall. Things are falling over. Are you seeing a ghost around the corner? Yeah, all sorts of things are happening. So in timeline 1, like I said, because you're following the mom and the dad, and then all of the kids are like, I want to say they're under like 13 years of age, because the youngest, the two twins, they're like 6 years, and I want to say all the kids are at least under 13 years of age. So that's how kind of far back in the timeline you are, is with them all as kids. So yeah, in timeline A, they move into this house, weird things are happening. Their mother, there's something wrong with their mother. The house is getting to the mother, played by Carla Gugino. Is she suffering from mental illness, or is it the house messing with her? And what we know with Timeline A is that they have to abruptly leave the house because all hell breaks loose, and their mother, something has happened, and she's gone nuts, and they leave the house, leaving their mother behind. But yeah, you know that their mother is dead. You know right away that she is dead, that she has died. Something has happened. So that's where Timeline A is. So Timeline B is kind of in a more modern day setting. All of the kids are grown now. They're all like 30 plus at this point, pretty much. And yeah, there's their dad, who they're all estranged from. And the big opening factor here with Timeline B is that the whole family is reunited with the death of their youngest sibling. Their youngest sibling has recently died, but that's a question. How did she die? Was it suicide, or was it something involving the house? Because she has died at Hill House. So there's a lot of mystery elements going on there. But yeah, her death, the death of the youngest sister, is what brings the whole family back together. Because yeah, like I said, they've all been estranged from one another, especially with their father, since he never really told them what happened when they were kids with their mother. So that's kind of the big thing going on. You have the two different timelines that really weave in and out of each other quite flawlessly throughout the season, and it's done in such a way that's never confusing either. It's never confusing. You always kind of know exactly what's going on and when exactly you are in each timeline, you know. So yeah, that's what I loved about this show. I loved the two timelines. I loved the family drama going on. And the thing is, whenever there were horror movie elements, I kind of like to think of this show as almost subverting the horror genre in some ways. Because even though something scary would pop up, even though you would get some sort of jump scare, the thing is, once you're done with the episode and you're calming down from everything you've just watched, when you think about it, the scary things going on in any given episode, the scary elements really enhance the story and the characters. The scary elements are not there just to scare you and frighten you, you know? Yeah, because you can go see a horror movie, and jump scares, they're there to do just that. They're there to scare the hell out of you. And in this show, like I said, it's almost a subversion of the genre, because jump scares in this show, they're there for a reason. They're there for a reason. They're there to progress the narrative, to progress something with the story. The jump scare is there to tell you something. You know, when you sit and deeply think about it. This show is not just mind-numbing by any means. This is a show that really makes you think and ponder. And I love that so much about this show, you guys. So yeah, some of the major big themes, I'm sitting here looking at my notes to make sure I've not accidentally cut anything out here. Like I said, very family and character driven. Horror serves to flesh family and character out. And yeah, the big themes of this show. It deals a lot with life and death, suicide, depression, grief, all the various different stages of grief as well, how people deal with grief. So this show it's a very dark show, you guys. If you don't want to watch something very dark and depressing, this is definitely not the show for you. It's very real and raw. It gets to some pretty dark places. I think I literally cried every damn episode, you guys. I'm not even joking. Something made me cry every damn episode, and I kind of loved it. Maybe I'm a weirdo, I don't know. I like to cry. I like to cry when I'm watching stuff, you guys, because if I can get drawn into something like that, it means you did your job correctly as a writer. And yeah, this show, it was beautifully directed, you guys. Some of the most outstanding directing, beautifully written, like, just very real things going on with the writing. Yeah, the acting was absolutely mind-blowing. And kind of with the directing, I suppose, I mean, just the way some of the directing was, yeah, sometimes you would have these lingering shots, the camera would just be situated in one place. The camera fixated on one character's face. It would kind of just linger there for such a long time, but you were so absolutely captivated. So yeah, lingering panning shots, and like I mentioned earlier, just a subversion of the horror genre going on in a lot of places, which I appreciated. Yeah, I even wrote in my notes, I cried every episode. And episode 6, I definitely got to give a shout out to episode 6, because prior to going into this show, I had heard a lot about episode 6, that this was the episode that made the show, and that this is the reason why you watch the show. Episode 6 was amazing, you guys. This episode, yeah, there's in timeline A with the little kids and their parents, there's a storm going on, which is really creepy. And then, yeah, in timeline B, the family is dealing with the funeral. They're there to, to come together and reminisce, I suppose. And yeah, this gets to some really creepy, dark, deep levels at the funeral home, and there's a storm going on there. Episode 6, seriously. It's known, if you don't know anything about episode 6, it's known for being an episode that only has a few cuts in it. A few cuts of editing, if you will. I think there's maybe 5 or 6 cuts in the whole episode. It's like an hour long, and there's only maybe 5 or 6 edit cuts in there, so it's kind of all one long camera shot from beginning to end, and it's an incredible artistic achievement, you guys. I absolutely loved it. So yeah, kind of getting into some of these random characters, or not random characters, the main characters, I should say. Getting into the main characters here. I'm not going to spend too long on them because, yeah, it will get into spoiler territory for a lot of them. Starting with, is it Michelle Huisman? I think his name is pronounced Michelle. I'm not sure. And then I think it's Huisman for his last name. He played Dario Naharis on Game of Thrones, you guys. I loved him on Game of Thrones. He plays the oldest brother, Stephen. And he's the one who's in denial, essentially. Stephen is the one who's in denial. He doesn't believe in the ghost. He claims that he's never seen a ghost. And he's the one just trying to keep the family together as best he can, And then you have Elizabeth Reiser. She plays Shirley. Shirley is the one. She's just so tight. She's just so tight. She's also just really trying to stick the family together as well, but she just doesn't know how. And she's the one who is kind of the most angry out of everybody. She's just mad at everything. Mad at herself, mad at her family, mad at her own husband sometimes. But yeah, you find out some interesting things there with her backstory about why she might be the way that she is. And then you have Kate Siegel. She plays Theodora / Theo. And Theo was such a fun character. Theo is the one who I kind of thought of her as being maybe the most rational, her being the one to try to place things together, to make sense of things. Theo, she has a really interesting gift in the show. She has the ability that she can touch somebody, or touch an object, just touch anything, and she can sense things. She can sense whether something's good, whether something's bad, and that actually comes in handy. Her ability with touch her ability with touch really comes in handy with trying to figure some things out. And it just makes her a really complex, interesting character about why she kind of does the things that she does as well, because she knows certain things with her gift, you know, and she treats people a certain way because she can feel it, you know. So yeah, I love Theo's character. And next up we have Oliver Jackson Cohen, who I love. I've seen him in a couple things. Oliver Jackson Cohen played Luke. He is a twin. I'll talk about his twin in a second, but Luke is part of a twin set. And Luke, he starts off as a precious, precocious child, but then, yeah, when you get to the modern day setting, poor Luke is he's a drug addict, you guys. He's a drug addict. He's depressed. He's suffering immensely from the loss of his twin. Because, yeah, the twin connection is a huge deal in the show. So yeah, poor Luke, the whole damn show. You just want Luke. You want everything for Luke. You want the best for poor Luke by the whole show. And then Victoria Pedretti plays Nell, or Eleanor, but Nell they call her for the most part. Nell is Luke's twin. Nell is the one who dies at the start of episode 1, or I guess the end of episode 1, you find that out. Yeah, her death is what kind of brings everybody together. Her death is the big mystery, and yeah, you're trying to connect that to the death of their mother as well. Nell's character is kind of depicted as being the sweet, innocent one, and so yeah, you're trying to kind of place, you know, her death in context. You know, why did she die? How did she die? Because it just didn't seem like she would be the type, you know. And then Carla Gugino, who I adore as an actress, she plays Olivia, who plays the mother. A freaking amazing performance, you guys. Like I said, the Olivia character, the mom character, you don't know if she's suffering from mental illness. You don't know if it's the house that's affecting her for whatever reason. I love her. She only appears in the flashbacks. She only appears in the flashbacks, but then she does appear, like, in the modern day setting. She's kind of there as like a ghost, if you will. I love that character, and it's her death in the flashbacks. It's her death she's the reason why all of her children are the way that they are. You know, she's the reason why all of her children are all so fucked up as adults. So she plays such a huge role, and you find out some very interesting things with her as a character. There are some very interesting things. She does some very interesting things that's like, by the time some things are revealed, by that finale, it's like, oh my god, I cannot believe things kind of went this way. But yeah, everything she does, it's all done for love of her husband, for love of her children. And yeah, in turn, because she loves her family so much, that's why she does what she does when we find out some things in the finale. And then we have the character of Hugh, who is the father, and he's played by two different actors here. In the flashbacks, he's played by Henry Thomas, who you might know as little Elliot from the E.T. movie. I was so amused, you guys. I was so amused when I realized he was little Elliot from E.T. He's a man now, like in his 40s. And then his adult version, in the modern day setting, is played by Timothy Hutton. I really love Timothy Hutton and Henry Thomas. You know, they're both there playing the same role, but you buy it. You know, you really buy that they are the same character. I think the writing is done really well, and I think they kind of they base their performances around each other, I think. Just any little quirks with the characters, you know, I think they kind of pass that along to make sure it carries over into each timeline. But yeah, I love the character of Hugh. His whole thing is that he wants to fix things, because like I said, he's there to fix up the house, make it viable again. And that's his role as a character. He feels the need to constantly fix things, not only fix the house, but fix his family. And is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? You know, can the family be fixed? He's a very complex character. I loved him. He served a really valuable, great function on this show, I think. Whew, seriously. And his love story with Olivia, oh my god, I loved it. And then as far as some other characters go, there was a man and wife, they're the Dudleys. I really liked the Dudleys. The Dudleys are they're kind of like the housekeepers, I suppose. They look after Hill House in Timeline A, in the flashback setting. They're there as kind of housekeepers. They've been with the Hill House family for a long time. I really liked what the Dudleys served in this show because in the horror genre, if there's some housekeepers introduced, your immediate thought is, oh, these people must be creepy and dangerous. And when you're watching this show, the Dudleys do kind of initially come across that way. You get this really strange, eerie vibe with them, but I think that's because you're conditioned to feel that way because of the horror genre, you know? And the Dudleys, once you really get to know them and you get to learn their backstory, like I said, I'm not going to give no spoilers here, but once you do find out more about the Dudleys and their backstory, they are actually a very tragic pair of characters, and you actually feel a lot of sympathy for them, I think, by the end. So they're not what you expect, you know? Like I said, I initially felt kind of weirded out by them because I think I was conditioned to feel that way. But yeah, by the end you don't. I don't think you're supposed to feel that way anymore. So yeah, once again, a subversion of the genre. Because yeah, you get some creepy housekeepers and in horror movies, and you instantly dislike them, you're instantly suspicious. So yeah, the Dudleys, they're a subversion of that, I think. And then, I haven't even mentioned the kid actors. All of the kid actors playing Stephen and Shirley, Theo, Luke, and Nell, the kid actors were amazing, you guys. Sometimes it can be hit or miss with kid actors, but I think they all did an amazing job. They really stood their ground, and yeah, the kids have some of the most emotional moments as well. You know, the kids, they made me cry a couple times as well. And you have to believe it. You have to believe that these kid actors, that they eventually grow into the adult actors that they later become. You know, you have to buy the kids and you have to buy the adults, or else this show doesn't work. You know, this show does not work if you cannot fall in love with the actors playing the kids. That way, yeah, when you get to the adult versions of them, you know, you need to feel something. You have to feel something for the story, or else nothing works. So yeah, bravo to the kid actors, the talent agent, whoever casted them. You did amazing, because they were perfect. They were perfection. So, overall, you guys, if you can't tell, I freaking loved Season 1 of The Haunting of Hill House. It was not what I was expecting. It really, truly exceeded my expectations. My mind was just blown. I'm so glad I watched the show, you guys. I can't believe it took me this damn long to watch this show. It is seriously one of the best shows. I highly, highly recommend it if you have not already. It is so much more than a horror show. It's way more than that. It is much more heavily focused on the characters and the story and the family and the drama. And it gets to some really dark, deep levels with like mental illness and emotion and whatnot. I just really recommend it. I can't recommend it enough. An absolutely gorgeous, breathtaking show. Probably easily one of my new favorite shows. You guys, easily one of my favorite new shows. If I had to rank shows, if I had to rank some shows, it would definitely probably make my top 10. Not gonna lie. And so yeah, I'm very curious about Season 2. Like I said, Season 2 is going to be The Haunting of Bly Manor, based off of The Turn of the Screw. I hope that Season 2 realizes what it had with Season 1. You know, because that, like I said, what worked with Season 1 was how heavily focused it was on the character and the plot, more so than the horror. If anything, the horror really enhanced character and plot. So I hope Season 1 realizes that and picks up on that, and they focus on that. Because I think Season 2 can be just as amazing if they stick to what worked with Season 1. Yeah, they don't have to follow exactly what Season 1 did, but yeah, if they want Season 2 to be successful, and if they want it to really connect with viewers once again, they really do need to, they need to focus on what worked with Season 1 to carry into Season 2. So yeah, you guys, did you guys watch Haunting of Hill House? I need to know, I need to discuss it with you if you did. So you guys, that is it for my discussion and my feelings on Season 1 of The Haunting of Hill House. In the comments below, have you guys seen The Haunting of Hill House? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Let me know your thoughts down below. So that's it for this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And if you like this video, you may like these other videos. Bye guys.